Now I'm going to taste with you guys the 2007 Founder's Block Chardonnay. Now again, this is the second of three wines in our February 2010 Chairman's Club shipment for Chalk Hill Estate. And this is a wine right here, you can see it's in our oval label. And it's a wine we only bottle when we can, so we don't have to every year, we don't every year. And only when the vineyard produces the fruit that can make this bottling. So this is a bottling we've been doing for several years. I actually just had the 99 and it was amazing. So it ages phenomenally over time. And the Founder's Block are vines that we planted in 1974. So it's basically old vine Chardonnay, which is pretty hard to come by in the Russian River Valley. And Chalk Hill is in the Russian River Valley. It's its own appellation, but it's also part of the Russian River. And we've got some historic Russian River-esque vineyards here on the estate. So this comes from one of them, head train vines, again planted in 1974, and the soils are just perfect for Chardonnay, ancient riverbeds, really well drained, and this wine is just always astounding and amazing. And it actually, a lot of our old vine Chardonnay goes into our estate bottling. So we only pick out a certain one pick we had from this one huge vineyard, which we pick in multiple picks, and that's what might become the Founder's Block. But I want you guys all to know that a lot of the Founder's Block is in the estate Chardonnay. The 2007 Founder's Block Chardonnay is made in mostly the same way we make our estate Chardonnay. We whole cluster press the fruit, and it goes directly to barrel, where it is barrel fermented and aged on its lees. It goes through 100% malolactic fermentation, and it's bottled unfined and unfiltered. This wine is different, however, in several ways. We do 100% lees inclusion on this. That means it doesn't undergo any settling after being pressed. And this is because we want to incorporate as much of that fruit into the final wine as we possibly can. It's got so much character and personality. We want to bring that from the grape to the glass. Now, it's also deemed a high-risk fermentation when you include so much lees, because the wine has a tendency to have a problematic fermentation or get stinky, as we call it. So we baby this wine. We make sure that it's sound from the get-go. We do lots of batonnage on it, which is lee stirring of the barrels, and we taste it a lot along the way. All of our Chardonnay undergoes 100% native fermentation. We don't use any inoculated yeast, and we basically just put the juice in a barrel and wait for the fermentation to start. We've been doing 100% native fermentations on Chardonnay at Chalk Hill for over 20 years, so we have a really strong native yeast population down in the cellar, which is very, very productive and very efficient at converting grape sugar into alcohol. So without further ado, I'm going to pour this wonderful wine. And again, as I said, this wine has such the ability to age very, very gracefully over the years. So tasting it now is wonderful, but also tasting it 10 years from now will be quite an experience. So here we go. So there's some characteristics of the Founder's Block that are consistent year to year, and that we look to see when we're wanting to bottle it as a separate bottling. So, it's got an amazing nose. It's got so much floral character, and a lot of, I like to call it ginger, white flower. It's got a whetstone minerality, a minerality that just sort of speaks of Chalk Hill Estate. That's the only way to put it. It is aged in 60% new oak barrels, and you wouldn't know it though. The wine stands up to the oak. You can barely tell. Just converts it to a little bit of a caramel character. And again, huge palate with lots of texture and the ability to age. This wine, was bottled 17. It was barrel aged for 17 months, and then it went to bottle, I believe, in May of last year. So it's been in bottle for about 9 months now, and it's definitely coming of age. But if you get this wine in our shipment, I would drink a bottle in the next few months, and then hold a bottle as long as you can, or buy more, because it's really really going to develop amazingly. It's also one of those white wines that can benefit a lot from oxygen exposure. So, you know, let it breathe a little bit in your glass, and don't serve it very cold, just a little chilled. Delicious. And one last thing about the 2007 Founders Block Chardonnay, you might notice that it's a little bit cloudy in appearance. And this is due to the fact that it goes from barrel to bottle in the same day as our Sauvignon Gris. And the Sauvignon Gris also might be a little bit cloudy in the appearance because of that. These wines are not fined or filtered. And the fact that they have a little bit of residual lees in the bottle means that they will just age beautifully over time. Lees actually acts as an antioxidant in the wine and preserves its aroma and flavor over time. So embrace the cloudiness. A cloudy appearance is also indicative of really high-end Chardonnays. I always ask myself if a Chardonnay is really wonderful, but it's crystal clear in my mind just because I love wines that are unfined and unfiltered. I ask what was either fined out of this or filtered away. So it's actually a mark of quality to me to be able to see, this wine is pretty clear, but it's just not crystal clear. Enjoy.